One of the most important aspects of your life, and the most pivotal certainly, is your making that decision to engage in a living arrangement with your sexual significant partner. And one of the biggest challenge with that, overwhelmingly the number one challenge for most everyone, is expectation management. And here's some things to consider in expectation management when you're moving in with somebody. Number one is that it is an arrangement. Consider that it is an arrangement, and like all arrangements, it is presumably arranged. And when you presume things rather than communicate things outright and clearly in the open, being open about everything, then the relationship is worse off than it could be better off. And it always stands to become better when communication is clear, when expectations are clear, and when less things are presumed. Number two is you must define for yourself what you consider a home is. This is momentarily, persistently, ongoingly, and at the time being indefinitely, what you will be considering as a home. So consider for yourself what you consider what a home is for you, how that would feel for you, and communicate that clearly with your partner, because every single time, without question, every single time the other person, what they consider what a home is for them, how they would behave in a home, what they consider is a home, what makes up a home for them, will be entirely, sometimes often, radically different from what you consider is a home. So make that definition. So let's unpack that a little bit. Going back to number one consideration for you is that when you presume arrangements, when you presume things are true without communicating with them and managing your expectations about them, you're worse off in the relationship rather than better off, and you always stand to become better. The relationship always stands to become better when expectations are managed, when less things are presumed. Now here's a relationship lesson that will really benefit you, and this is straight from Great Relationships U University at www.greatrelationshipsu.com. I strongly encourage you to visit that page. It's got 21 hours of video on demand module you can watch right away that will teach you all about enhance your personal psychology, give you social dynamic tools and techniques, and relationships management skills. And that is that there are three divided parts of when it comes to expectation management and clarity of communication when it comes to communication. And those three divided parts are there is the clarity of communication that you have with your pet. And the clarity of communication that you have with your pet is simply, mostly, and all of it is presumed because you can't communicate with your pet using words. You can't communicate with them explicitly. And so my cat, for example, presumes I am her master and owner, and I presume that I am its master and owner without her ever having to explicitly communicate it with me. In other words, without her having to communicate it with me using words and having clarity of that communication. That's one aspect of clarity of communication. And then there's the other aspect of clarity of communication, the clarity of communication that you have with your employee as you are an employer, or a business partner, or a business deal, or another company whom you're conducting a business. And that is that every single thing, well, mostly, if you're a good company, most of the things that you engage in with that company, the relationship that you have is explicit and detailed to the very last detail. In fact, they have things called contracts in which you have the contract and you say, hey, I will provide this for you. I will do this for you. I will do this with you in return and in exchange for you're doing this for me and you're doing this with me. And here's the terms and agreements of our partnership. And here are the terms and agreements of what we will engage in, what we will not engage in, the things that we will not engage in, the things that are not part of this relationship. And remember, everything that you engage in is a relationship, whether it be sexual or non-sexual, whether it be with a person or with an animal. Everything is a relationship, whether it be an object or a living thing. It's a relationship. My relationship to the planet Earth is that I am its inhabitant. My relationship with my country is that I am its citizen. My relationship with my friends and colleagues is that I am their friend and I am their colleague. So going back, the second thing is that the communication that you have with when business is involved, where everything is clear right down to the very last detail. And then there's the communication that we have with human beings, in which it's right in the middle, where a lot of things are presumed and a lot of things are seldom for most people. Some of the things are crystal clear. And so here's the thing that you have to have in mind. Your relationship will always stand to become better the more clear your communication becomes. The more your expectations are managed, the more they can rely on your communicating what you can expect of them, what you expect of yourself, and what they can expect of you. Savvy? So, on the second aspect of this video, what do you consider is a home? This is actually, there are many things we can communicate about, we can talk about here on you're moving in with your partner. But the number one thing is that what do you consider is for you a home? And then ask them what they would consider for them is a home. How would you like to conduct things? For myself, I like to have things that are very clean. I like to have my home very clean. I like to have expectations managed because I'm a very busy person. I'm a very productive person. And so when I'm in my productivity mode, there's a certain mindset that I have to be into. And one of the mindsets, for example, and you might want to take this to your life, is that all distractions are equal. When it comes to productivity, all distractions are equal. What does that mean? It means that the distraction, oh my God, you have your family is coming into town. Great, that's an amazing distraction. A distraction nonetheless. Or is it, hey, there's a small leak on your faucet in the kitchen. That's a distraction. That's a very small distraction that I could fix maybe later or maybe tomorrow, maybe in the coming days. Sure, there are two completely different events. They're two completely difference in significance. One is very significant. One is pretty much insignificant. Could be fixed with a wrench. But they are even in their distraction. All distractions are equal in terms of your productivity. Especially when you're in the productivity mode, when it requires your creativity and your mindset and your brain power and your willpower. Your willpower diminishes right away. Pretty much instantly, your willpower diminishes throughout the day. You have the most willpower when you wake up, and then that diminishes the more decisions that you make throughout the day. At the very end of the day, your willpower is pretty much almost gone. And it's very hard for you to make decisions that are worthwhile for you. This is scientifically proven. Now, people have different willpower, but I'll regress. I digress rather than regress. So I have those certain quirks. Everybody's going to be different. Everybody's going to have different expectations about themselves and about the other person. And so the more clear that you have, the happier the home is. Because they know what to expect. People love knowing what to expect. Even if there are things that they don't like, at least they can expect that that's going to be a thing, and they can make a decision for themselves because you love and honor them and respect them, to let them know, to have the ultimate and most powerful choice of all, the ultimate choice and the most significant and only important choice is take it or leave it. Is to make the decision, I will engage with it or I will not engage with it. And you give them the respect of getting them to expect, hey, I'm going to do something that you may or may not appreciate, but I'm going to do it nonetheless. I have to do it. This is what I have to do. And you can certainly make compromises, but never sacrifices. There are things in the list of sacrifices which you will never do. Certainly, just engage with the mindset, I will never do anything I wouldn't do. That's a fantastic mindset mantra for yourself. And there are things that you can make compromises. A compromise is not a sacrifice. The difference is that compromise are things in which you have the same goal, you have the same wants and desires, and you go about it differently, so you make a compromise and going about that same thing that you want for the both of you or the multiples of you. And so I'll end this video with that. If you want more relationship strategies, mindsets, enhancements of your philosophy, and social dynamics, tools and techniques and skills, go to www.greatrelationshipsyou.com. And I would love for you to click the like and heart button on this video. Leave a comment if you have any thoughts. I would love to hear them. And please share this with your followers. I would really appreciate that. And they will love you for it if they find value in this video, like you did. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.